My name is Dan Edwards. I'm an associate editor for Global Implementation Research and Applications, which we affectionately call GIRA, G-I-R-A. GIRA is the official journal of the Global Implementation Society. Since 2021, GIRA has sought to publish manuscripts from people who are engaged in and from those affected by the process of implementation. By now, we have successfully published nearly 100 manuscripts that capture the science of implementation and that reflect a diverse range of disciplines, global regions, service sectors, and settings. But while most of these papers have focused on the science of implementation research was never GIRA's sole or even primary focus. The experience of practitioners and others engaged in the practice of implementation, or the experience of those impacted by the day-to-day work of implementation, is critically important. But those manuscripts simply aren't being published as much as we would like. So, at GIRA, we believe that the special issue addressing the practice of implementation will begin to address that. We also believe that capturing the important and practical lessons related to implementation can begin to help bridge the gap between implementation research and implementation practice. We do realize that many of the potential authors who, with relevant implementation experience, are focused on just that, the day-to-day tasks of creating change and sustaining implementation. And they may not be accustomed to writing about their work or submitting manuscripts for publication in peer-reviewed journals. So, to address this problem, we've developed a simple, supportive process that we hope will encourage practitioners of implementation to share their perspectives and their valuable lessons. These supports include the series of brief videos, as well as, for those who request it, individualized support from people who are more accustomed to submitting manuscripts. So feel free to ask for help. First of all, who should contribute to this special issue on the practice of implementation? Potential authors may include, but are not limited to, anyone practicing, facilitating, or experiencing implementation or knowledge translation in practice or policy. So, for example, people involved in and affected by the implementation of practice and policy, say clinicians, service providers, recipients, supervisors, managers, administrators, community leaders, and funders, as well as people they serve. Or people with experience facilitating implementation who provide implementation support. So people from intermediary organizations, quality improvement organizations, consultants, knowledge brokers, funders, or implementation support practitioners. Or thirdly, those involved in pragmatic or applied implementation research and evaluation, so project managers, coordinators, supervisors, and others. Okay, so if you're interested in being a part of this special issue, we wanted to let you know that we are also utilizing a different process for the special issue. So instead of writing and submitting an entire paper, which is the usual course, for this special issue on the practice of implementation, we are suggesting that you begin by writing a brief summary of your experience with implementation. In the world of publishing, this type of summary is referred to as an abstract. And for this special issue, we're asking you to write an abstract of 300 words or less as a starting place. In the abstract, we would ask that you summarize things like, what were you hoping to learn or to solve or to accomplish? Or what challenges emerged and how did you address them? What worked well and what did not? Sometimes we learn the most from what didn't work. And what others can learn from this. Okay, what are the goals of the issue? The special issue has 6 specific goals. So please also consider how your abstract could focus on, number 1, sharing experiences or needs or perspectives of the people involved in and affected by implementation policy or practice. Or you could present practice-informed lessons that would inform implementation theories or implementation models or frameworks, These could be strategies or resources or tools that you've developed to facilitate successful partnerships. You could share the development of measures or methods that assess themes that are relevant in implementation practice, such as relationships or trust or coordination or power. You could promote conversation between and among practitioners, policymakers, and researchers. You could identify real-world implementation gaps or inequities, or possibly pose questions and offer perspectives to generate discussion and research. Okay, so if all this sounds interesting to you so far, here's what we'd like to ask you to do. Please submit an abstract here, the link is on the screen, before October 31st, 2024. Once we receive the abstract, our special issue editors will review and respond to it within 2 weeks. If it seems like a good fit for our special issue, they will offer some comments, pose some questions, and make some suggestions about how perhaps to develop your manuscript. Okay, if we get to that place and you would like to have some more help and more support, in the same link that brought you to this video, there's another brief video that offers tips and tricks for writing a manuscript. And in that video, there's a link to access individualized support, which will be available throughout the process of writing and revising your manuscript as you respond to editor and reviewer suggestions. Okay, I sure hope this was helpful. And please remember that your experiences are extremely valuable to the field, and GIRA is here to help you tell your story. Thank you.